software engineer at Microsoft. So
Hi,
in this session, hi. In this session, we are going to talk about return to workplace. We know that the situations are different from what was earlier and what's now during COVID and what will be there post COVID. So there are a few challenges. There are a few readiness checks that we have to do at our workplace when we all plan to go back to the work and we plan to work from the office facilities. And there are various the stakeholders involved in it, like not just the employees but the facility managers, the leaders, and everyone has to take some decisions. So that's where Microsoft has come up with the solutions, and we are going to talk about that in this session. So if you guys have any questions or anything during the session, you can feel free to write that in the chat window. And we have a Q&A session towards the end of after the presentation, so we can discuss that during that time. Okay. All right. So what is our way forward together, and what's Microsoft doing for us to return to workplace? And we know that there is always something called business continuity in the challenging times. Like we have to take care of various decisions based on the calamities that we are facing and the kind of plans that we have to take care of such problems. So we know that when you are trying to come back from a destruction phase to return, basically you have to take some data driven decisions. So be it like the managers, the facility managers, or the leaders, they have to look at the trends, the data, the kind of sentiments of the employees, and then they have to decide on how are they going to open the facilities, right? Also they have to check for the readiness. So reopen and maintain these safe work environments is again another. So it's not only just the reopen, but to also maintain this safe workplace. So there is a regular schedule for the cleanliness, sanitization, and all other activities that you have to perform. And then you have to create a clarity for the workforce. So the workforce that's coming into your facility, you have to show them that this is our readiness, this is where we are standing right now, this is what the sentiments from the employee is, and this is how we want to work further. So all these things comes into the place, and when we have to do so many transactions, when we want to create reports, dashboards and all, it becomes very difficult if we do it manually or if we try to go and create our solutions on our own. So that's where Microsoft Power Apps came into the picture, and Microsoft has developed this particular, the application basically where using the various applications, the the transactions and the various dashboards that the Power Apps Return to Workplace application suite provides, we can quickly, spin up our environment. We can quickly take care of what we need, what we do not need, and then we can deploy it within an hour or two and start working on it. So this is basically an out of the box solution that Microsoft provides. At the same time, it also provides a lot of customization features on it where we can customize and then we can use it as per our requirement. So in this session, initially, like for 7-8 minutes, I'll be talking about what are the various features the application provides and how do we use it, what are the various use cases. And we'll also talk about the architecture of the solution. And then after that, we will be moving towards the demonstration. We'll be moving towards the hands-on experience on the application, and we'll see like how do we create various entities, how do we work with the various entities and all those things. All right. So, you can see like when you have this business and IT challenges during COVID-19, there are various users or the various stakeholders who plays an important role in the system, and everyone has to do something. Everyone needs some data to take further actions. When we talk about executive leaders, they have to take data driven decision. They have to maintain or monitor the overall progress of the facilities. There are individual facility managers. They have to take care of the individual facility and the various activities that are undergone in specific facilities. So for example, if I take just an example of say Asia Pacific region, some offices in the Middle East or some offices in Singapore we would like to open because we have a better this condition there or the situation there than what we have in India. So then that's where the individual facility managers comes into the picture, and they do the overall assessment of the various facilities of the various regions, and then based on that they take the decisions. Of course, there are employees and the managers or the workforce basically who goes to the office for work, and their safety comes into the picture whenever they are going there. And then there is something like the safety leaders, where they have to track. So it's not only just about opening, but then again to track after opening that if there are cases coming in, or if there are any contacts of the cases coming in, how are we taking care of such situations, what are our action plans on that, and how are we making sure that we are at least not adding to the spread of the disease. So these are the various things that we need to do, and the Microsoft Power Apps provides exactly the same. So this is like the various apps that started developing and deployed as a rapid response to the COVID situation right from March 2020. So they came up with the employee crisis communication templates, and then the healthcare bot for question and answers, and then the COVID tracking dashboards were there pretty long. I remember in March and April, we used to look at the Bing COVID dashboards where we would see the location wise COVID numbers increasing. Hospital and emergency response templates were available, and then the government templates were available, which were used by certain governments for their tracking. Like in US specifically, they were using these templates. And then you have the risk identification and alert system. It's kind of a contract tracing that we do. So these are the various apps that came in. This is kind of a like a timeline, and now we are into a global availability of the solution, which is our return to workplace suite. It's basically a suite of various applications together, and the various dashboards which we will be seeing in today's session, and we'll see like how it works. So you can see in the bottom, these are the various applications that comes as a part of the return to workplace app. So return to workplace, if you look at the various use cases or the various stakeholders that are involved with the return to workplace, the first and the foremost comes is the leaders. So leaders always need the dashboard for the data-driven decision management, and that's where these dashboards work. So in the these dashboards that we have for the leaders, we will be showing the global data of the COVID cases, the fatal COVID cases across the globe, and then we'll have the location monitoring, and then you can drill down into the locations, regions, facilities, and then you can have a data view for the individual facilities and readiness. Okay. The second dashboard that we have is for the facility managers. So the facility managers has the various checklists to follow. Like, okay, do I have the regular supply of the sanitizers available or not? Do I have regular supplies of the PPE kits available or not? Do I have the safety regulations and measures audited in my office regularly or not? If I have any support staff coming in, do I have like a training conducted for the support staff or not, like how hygienically they have to act at the workplace? So various different types of checklists. There is a like a exhaustive list of categories we have, where you have to create the checklist for the different categories, and then you have to follow it, and it becomes very easy to track. Like you can easily track it because it's directly out of the box and it's all there on the system, on the solution, so we can easily keep track of that. So the facility managers need to keep track of the key staff availability, including security, cleaning and maintenance, track reopen readiness, the various phases, like the various phases in which the individual facility is. All right, so these kind of tracking can be done by the facility managers on the facility dashboard. The demo that I will be showing you will be looking at all these dashboards and applications there. right? Now these were the dashboards. The other thing comes is the transactions or the applications where we need to enter something, we need to have some data populated basically. So employee check-ins is also very important. So what happens is, like, with the reopen, the major challenge that's going to come in is going to be the contact tracing. So I'm going to 10 different places, and then I'm going to office, and I'm working there, I'm coming back, then again I'm going to 5 different places, and then I'm going to office. And for any reason, if I test positive or if I have got the symptoms, it's important to trace all the contacts associated with me, and to make sure that we are trying to isolate all the contacts. So that's where the employee check-ins and the employee bookings comes into the picture, where you want to know that was this employee available in office, from what time to what time was this employee available, was he having an access to specific floors in the office, or it was in the all the floors of the office. So these kind of a checks we need to perform. That's where the employee return to workplace employee check-in services comes into the picture, where employee checks in, receives the instruction, declares the work location, and the books a space that I'll be available in this space in the office. Then employee has to self screen himself or herself that I don't have any symptoms, and then attest themselves. And once they attest, they are clear and they can go inside the workplace. So this also we don't need to develop out of as such. We get the whole application out of the box, and we simply need to use it. We'll be showing you a demo of that application as well. And then the another thing comes in is the case management, where if any case comes in, like the positive case comes in, then we need to take care of all the contacts of that case, and we need to assign someone that case. They have to track, they have to make sure that it is all resolved. So that's the case management that we do. All right. Yeah, Shreyas.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about the architecture of return to workplace solution. So, as Kishan was talking about the solution which we are going to deploy, that will install automatically few applications which we have seen and dashboards. So, if you see on the left side of the architecture, you can see the dashboard that was created on the top of Power BI. Other things you can see on the left side is applications. Those applications are employee return to workspace management, or facility safety management, or workplace care management. These applications are built on the top of Power BI, and the data source of all these dashboards and Power BI is linked with the CDS. CDS is a secure cloud-based storage space that we are going to use. Actually, by default, CDS provide few entities, as you can see on the architecture. It's a contact, facilities, location, supplies, staff, or you can build out-of-box entities by your own. Yeah. So once the solution is ready, you can use the various way, like Power Automate, or any automation way to connect it with the gateway, and by doing that you can make it available to the end users. Yeah, that is all about the architecture. Uh, yeah, back to
Yeah.
Kishan.
Thanks, Shreyas. So we'll see over here how to get started. In this slides, we have the links basically, where the Microsoft document talks about how do we download the whole application and how do we configure it. So first you test it with the out-of-the-box solution that's provided, and then you can change the data, you can configure it to use it for your organization and then work with it. Uh, you can directly go to this particular link. This is the app source link for the Power Apps, basically the akka.ms /rtw hyphen app, which is a return to workplace hyphen app. And when you install this, you get the suite of applications directly with you. And then you will have links for downloading the Power BI dashboards as well. and you'll be able to configure it to use basically. So you can see it shows over here. Basically, this page tells you everything like what does this app provide, and then you can get related Power BI templates also for the location readiness, the facility management, workplace care management, and all. And there is a exhaustive documentation on like all the step-by-step process of how are we going to install, configure, and use the application in our organization. So I'll go to the demonstration here where I will be showing you about how do we like what are the various things that we have available and how do we configure the solution. I hope you all. Oh, well, let me share my screen. Are we able to see the screen for the applications?
Yep.
Shares. All right.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so the first thing that I start with is the creation of the facilities. So I mean, as Shreya said that the CDS already has a lot of entities available. If you want to create more entities, you can create them and then you can make them work to each other. So here we are going to see what by default we have available. How do we configure that and how do we make it into the use into our the work, basically the requirement. So first and foremost, what I'm doing is I'm creating a facility because I require a facility so that I can do all the tracking for that. So this is my application. So when you will be installing the employee return to workplace app that I was showing, right, you will be getting these three applications as a part of it. The employee return to workplace app, this is for the employee experience. You will get the facility safety management where you will be able to do all the transactions related to the facility, and you will get workplace care management where you will be able to create the user cases and the workplace cases. So here I am using the facility safety management application right now, and I am first creating a new facility into my system, and then I will be working with that facility. All right, so I go to the new and I create a new facility here. You can see here on the top, there are all the states in which the facility is available. These are like the phases. So generally, when we want to track a reopening, we will track it from here, whether it's a closed facility, then it's a planning state, initial return state, scaling up state, and a new normal. These are the phases which are out of the box available from the solution. If you want to add additional phases, you can add them as well, right? So I am putting a facility number over here, say FG 001, and I'm creating some facility for say Gujarat. All right, so say over here I am making it as a Baroda building 1. Right, so this is going to be my building name, Baroda building 1, and I can specify the facility type over here. So there are again out of the like box facility types available, like a building or a data center or a parking space or an office. If you feel that your facility type is something different, for example, it's a cafeteria, all right, or it's a garage for the I mean, you know, a kind of an innovation space for the employees, you can have some more such facility types created. For now, I'm making this as a building type, so I'm selecting a facility type as a building over here. And you can also add this particular facility to the groups, right? So there are various existing groups available. These groups are basically the country wise groups that are there. If you want to, like, if you see here all records, you will see all the country wise groups are available. And if you want to create a separate group altogether, depending upon your organization, then you can also select that particular group. So I'm adding this to the group Asia. The other thing that I'm doing is the phase in which my facility is right now, whether it's in a closed phase or the planning, initial return and all. And then eventually all these phases will undergo a transition. So today, if I say that I'm in a closed facility, tomorrow after a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, when the situations improve, I'll move to initial return phase. And then eventually I'll move to a new normal phase where my facility will be completely open. So right now I'm selecting say phase 1, which is a planning phase. Again here, as I was telling you, you can add your own phases as well. And then you have the entry window interval. So entry window interval is what it's, if you want to limit the employee wandering in the office, or the employee entry in the office, to a limit, basically an interval of 30 minutes or 1 hour. That means even though I have an approval, I have a pass, but I still cannot spend the whole day in office. My pass is only valid for this particular range of an hour or a 30 minutes. Then you can specify that with the entry level. So this is your business decision. If I feel that my building is not safe enough and I don't want employees to be available in the office for more than an hour, if they have to be there for more than an hour, they have to again generate a new pass and then enter again. Then you can specify the entry window interval over here. If you specify none, that means it's completely open and you don't have any separate interval to go generate the pass or anything. Right, so these are some basic information that we have, and then we can add some more basic information related to the address and lat longs for the buildings and all. Now just save this. So we are creating this first facility over here, Baroda Building 1 facility, and now we will add more details to it. Okay. So what we will do is, after creating this facility, suppose I will add some checklist. That means the facility manager has to follow this checklist, or has to update this checklist, that whether this work is done or not, that work is done or not, like that, right? So you can create additional, like the new readiness checks, or you can also add the existing readiness checks as well, if you have already created some readiness checks for your other buildings. So for now, to show you, I am creating a new readiness check over here. These are my existing readiness checks that I had earlier created. Suppose I am creating a new readiness check over here, and I am naming this as monitor PP kit stock, right? So I'm creating this kind of a readiness checklist, basically a monitor PP kit stock. You can attach it to the facility that you want to attach to, say Baroda, right? And then you can say save and close. Right, so we have this particular checklist added over here, which is the monitor PPE kit, and this is a check I have created. You can say that it's completed, not completed. You can say the expected date by when it will be completed. So all these things you can set up over here, and you can also add the owner over here. By default, the one who is creating this record is the owner of that checklist. If you want to assign it to someone else, then you can add like you can go search for those employees and you can assign that to that employee as well. Okay, so you can add the owners for that particular check. All right, so I'm just saving it. I can add these things also. I can add the category and the factor that it affects also. So suppose I am adding the category as uh, say medical, legal, and expert assessment. All right, and the factor that it affects. All right, so say my PP kit is on the cleanliness perspective or on the hygiene perspective. So there are a lot of such factors available where you can select one of those factors basically. Okay, so suppose I am using some supply factor over here, say a mask supply basically. Okay, so this is the factor that it's assigned to. All right, now we save this. Now the additional thing that you can do here is the transition. Right now you can see that I don't have any data available for the transition because my building is no transition. It's just a new building created. Later on, when I move from the stage to close to planning, initial return, scaling up and all those transitions will be populated over here when this building undergoes the transition. So you can add a transition over here. When you see that, okay, I had 5 checks, my 5 checks are clear, I want to transition from say a planning phase to the scaling up phase, you can add that transition as well here. And then you can specify the occupancy or the basically the areas and the floors for the building, so that we understand that, okay, the building that we created has got these many floors, it's got these areas, and this is the capacity of the area. Not more than these people can enter into the capacity that particular building. So suppose I'm adding some floors over here. Say my Baroda building one has got 2 floors, for example. Okay. So I am adding a floor 1 here. And then you add a new floor also. So we'll add one more floor here. All right, so like this, we can add the floors, we can add the areas. You want to add a parking area, cafeteria area, any other area you want to add, you can go and add. It's a simple form where you can add the areas. All right, we save and close. So the facility is created over here, which is the Baroda Building 1 facility, which has got created. Now, this is about creation of the facilities. You can see you have the facility groups available, which I was talking to you earlier, and you have the facility types available, which I showed you earlier. You can also go and add new facility groups or types here, and that will be available in your main form, the facilities form. From there, you can select to which facility group or the facility type your facility belongs to. Then comes the facility phase transitions, which I showed you there. In the facility, we can add the transitions, and here we can list the transitions. We can see like, okay, what are the transitions we have already undergone. If you want to add any new transition, you can add that from here as well. So these are the past transitions that I had, where these are the buildings and they have gone from this phase to this phase. This is the reason, and this is the date when the transition is changed. So same way for our buildings, if we change the transitions, the phases, it will also come up over here. The third thing that we have here is the employees part. So after this, Shreyas is going to show you about the employee application, where an employee can create a pass, employee can check in, create a visit, employee can show their sentiments. Okay, but as a facility manager, I should also be able to view what my employee has entered or what my employee thinks, right? So those details I can see over here, and I can also take some actions on behalf of an employee. So if I want to look at the various employee visits that has happened, I can go to employee visit and I can see that, okay, in past what time to what time, what visit has happened. If employee is not creating a visit, but I want to create a visit for an employee, for example, I am a delegate or I am an assistant of some leader, and they are saying that, hey, we are going to have these 3 people coming in, as a visitor or as an employee. So can you please create visits? Then I can create it as a facility manager from here. And I can view also the visits that are created by the employees. We can check for the employee bookings. Whenever the employee is buying not buying, but booking and getting a pass, that for this particular location, I'm going to be available from this time to this time. That booking also you can view from here as a facility manager. You can also view the employee sentiment from here. This shares will be showing you that employee can share a feedback of how happy or sad the employee is with the idea of cleanliness at the workplace and the return to the workplace, and that I can monitor over here. And then I can also watch the employee attestation. When an employee is entering into the office, employee can attest, and that attestation also I can watch over here in the employee attestations. So these are the various things that we can see. Now you will be seeing 2 other applications, and then we'll come back and we will look at all the data on the dashboards. Okay. Yeah, Shreyash.
Yeah. So let me give a couple of seconds. I think screen will be loading.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. So hi guys. As you have seen, we have already gone through with the facility safety management app. Now we are going to see the employee return to the workspace app. When you click on this, this window will open. So this is our app. So once you successfully log in, you can open the return to the workspace app. And in this page, in this window, what you can do, you can get a day pass, or you can look up the status of the facility which we have created in the last demo, which was our facility safety. We have created Baroda building 1. So that status of that facility or any other facility, around the globe. So all the facility status you can see over here. Then also you can give the sentiment emotions, like your feedback, like do you feel safe returning to the office? Yes, neutral, or no. That you can do it from here. Let's go and check in the process and get the day pass. So you can see the arrow on the left, on the right side. Just click on the arrow. It will take you to the next window. This is the facility window where you need to select the facility. In this case, as just now Kishan has created a Baroda, I'm going to select a Baroda building 1. Yeah. So once you select the facility, you can see the phase of the facility. Right now, Baroda building 1 is in planning phase. And if you want to continue and book a space, just go and book a space over here. Yeah. Now you remember in the last app, we have selected the entry window. So here you can see the 1 hour of entry window. You can select any of the entry window, which will be your arrival time. I'm selecting 3 to 4 p.m. Click next to check in. Next, this page will tell you the agreement and terms and agreement, which will be set up by the facility managers. Accept it to go further in the app for the app. Yeah. Now it will ask you few questions. That will be the symptoms, like if in last 72 hours, if how you are feeling, are you having a fever or cough? You have to, if you are agreeing with the statement, you don't have any symptoms, click on I agree. I'm going to click on I agree. Anytime you can disagree and go back to the front page out of the application. Yeah. Yeah. Now you can see I have received a day pass, and this day pass is only valid for 3 to 4 a.m. on that day. And during that time, you can go to the facility and check in. Our facility you can see in the in here, Baroda Building 1, and the employee name is Shreyash Naithani. So this was the all about getting a day pass. Then again, you can go to the lookup status and see the facility lookup, like what is the status of the facility. We can directly, let's say we want to see the Hyderabad campus 1 status, facility status, and it's in planning phase. Like that, you can go into the facility status and get it. Now you want to give the feedback, like how you are feeling, or do you feel safe returning to the office? And in this case, let's say I'm saying yeah, I'm feeling safe returning to the office, and this emotion will go to the dashboard. So you will see next when we are going to show. So yeah, this was all about the return to the workspace application. So next, yeah, we'll move forward to the next app, which is our employee. Yeah, we have taken care. We have already gone through with the 2 app. Now the third app which we got in this solution is Workplace Care Management. And when you click on this, you will get this page. This is your Workplace Case Management app. So once the employee has entered to the facility, and if the employee is not feeling well, so the case managers they can trigger a case on behalf of the employee, and they can assign a case manager, and then they can go through the entire process and see how the employee is doing. So if you click on this drop down, you can see the active cases and you can see the closed cases. Also on the left side, you can see the employee just below the masters. You can add a new contact over here, whom you want to any new employee join, or he want to use the application, or he want to go to the office and something. So you can, or you want to trigger a case for new employee, some employee which is not there. So you can add the contact from over here, and from case manager you can go and see how many cases are assigned to one manager, and all those lists will come over there. In this demo, we are going to create a one case, and then we'll see how it will go stage by stage. Over on the top of the page, you can see the new create a new employee case record. I'm going to click on that. Yeah. Now you can see there are 4 stages: open, investigating, monitoring, and resolve. who will be the health and safety leader? It will be the that guy. This guy will be the case manager. In this case, I'm going to be the case manager. And employee name, I want to open a case for Kishan. Yeah. As you can see, we have already Kishan record in the database, and we can see which is the building, where is the facility, and what is the email ID. All those details will come from here. Just save it, because this is the first stage. If you go here, this is the first stage where we'll go and create the case for the employee, and that we and assign a case manager. That we have done. So now the case manager will move the case to the next stage, which is investigating. In the investigating, case manager will investigate the case, and he will reach out to the employee and ask some few COVID related questions. He will be asking what is the risk assessment, whether it's a high, medium, or low. Let's say in our case it's a high risk. He has contacted to the employee and get the details about his well-being. So we can mark it yes. Screen, we can mark it yes. Once you get the detail and update it, you can move to the next stage, which is monitoring. In the monitoring stage, case manager will monitor the case, and he will ensure that the guidance and the instruction that has been given to the employee are being taken care, and he's applying all those instructions. And that details, when we got the confirmation, yes, the employee is provided the instruction and he's following all the instruction, then we can mark it as a yes and move it to the next stage, which is our resolve. Once we gone through with all the stages, and we see employee has been instructed, and he will be following those instructions, we can finish the case. We have marked the case. Now if go to the first page, and over here you can see the closed employee cases. You can see just now we have closed one high risk assessment case. We have created this one just now, and he can like case manager can get the detail of how many cases will open and all those things over here. Yeah, that is all about this workplace care management. Now we are going to see the dashboard for all these applications which we have just gave the demo. Yeah, back to Kishan.
Yeah. Thanks, Shreyas. Are you able to see the reports here?
Yes.
All right. So again, like the page which I was showing you, when you go to that app source, you will also get the links to download the dashboards associated with the return to the workplace app. So here, when you download those dashboards, like one by one, you will have to download the dashboard templates, and you will have to connect it to the same CDS which you are using for your application as well. So obviously, like all the transactions that we are doing are getting saved into a CDS, and we connect to the same CDS to actually pull all the data and display it on the dashboard. So that setup you will have to do after you download it. So when you download, you will be getting these templates, like the facility management template for the Power BI. You will get a return to workplace. You'll get location readiness. I mean, return to workplace case is a part of your return to work case management workspace. And then there is another one which is the location readiness. So all these three workspaces will provide you the three reports. And then like first time when you open the report, you have to configure the data source for the reports to the same CDS which you are using for your transactions, like the applications, and then it starts pulling and showing you the data from there. So we'll look at these reports one by one. The first one that we are seeing here is the facility manager dashboard. So as a facility manager, if I want to have the details of all my facilities at a glance, I should be able to see it from here. So you can see here that for a facility manager, for the first tab, which is the facility tab, I see the various categories of the readiness checklist that I created, and I see the progress or the status of the each readiness checklist, whether it's incomplete, it's complete. I mean, halfway through, like for example, I've closed one of the tasks, then it's 50% done. If I close all the tasks, then it will be 100% done, like that. So you can track from here, and you can understand like, hey, what's happening with the readiness, when are we going to complete it. We have the completion date also over here, so we know that by this it will be completed. But then if there is something overdue, then we have to, we can say like, okay, by when are we going to complete, what's the things. So again, based on the dates and all, these colors also changes, so it also gives a better visualization for all the status. Right now, if you look at this, I have everything which is in the incomplete state, so that's why I have everything in the red color. This is in incomplete, but it's 50% complete, so I have it in a different color here. Right, so that's how you can have a view of your completion. You can also have a percentage view of your readiness here on the left side, where it shows my readiness percentage is at 13%, depending upon all my facilities that I have right now and the readiness checklist that I have completed right now. You can look at the occupancy also. So from the occupancy tab, the second one, it shows you about the total bookings that are done till now, the total visits that are done till now, the total capacity of the facilities that you have till now. Like that, it shows you the graph for that. So right now we have only one visit, so it's showing only one visit. If you have more than one visit, it will show more data, and it will show about the bookings and all. So these are the out of the box graphs that we have, but this particular report can be customized. We can add our own views as we want, and we can just bind it to whatever data we want, and we'll be able to see it accordingly. And these are the various filters that you see on the right hand side, where you can select based on the area, based on the phases, based on the floors, and then you can have whatever appropriate view you want to look at. You can also drill down the floors and the areas from here as well, from the left hand side as well. You can also do the date filters here. The third thing that we have here is the daily arrivals. Basically, this is the data of basically the pass creation, the booking that we are doing, and the check-ins that are done by the employees. So all these data we get from here, and all these data is very important for a facility manager to just have a look and take data-driven decisions. If you go to the second tab, this is the virus spread tab, which is not specific to the organization locations, but it is actually a global data view. So globally, how many cases I have, globally, what is the rise in the number of cases, what is the total cases, what is the 14-day average, right, what is the elevation, or what is the basically the trend of the cases. All these data is shown over here. So even looking at the global data and looking at what other countries are doing, you can decide on what kind of decisions you want to take for your facilities. This is actually, we don't need to do any customization here. This is actually the Bing COVID API data, which directly gets bound to the reports. And we see the global data over here. This is not specific to any organization. You can also look at the fatal COVID cases from here, and the trends for the fatal COVID cases. And then you can see the employee activity on the number of employees who have booked the passes, like the how many passes are generated, and the total visits done by the employees, and also all those pass generation details we can get from here. And we can also see the sentiment. So Shreyas was showing you the sentiment, right? Like whether a employee is positive or negative, neutral. So based on that, the average sentiment comes over here. And this view in the bottom shows you the day wise sentiment, basically, like on which date, how many sentiments we have got. So lots and lots of features are here. I mean, a lot of functionalities and reports are here, which we just need to configure and use, because this is the time, like aggressively we have to go and take decisions, and we don't have time to build such a detailed reports or such a detailed applications. So that's where the Power Apps and this return to workplace app comes into the picture where you just need to configure and use it. All right, so this is another dashboard, which is the readiness dashboard, which is used by the leaders. It's for the leaders, and you can see here in the bottom, it gives you the overall view for the buildings. So if I have total, whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings, 8 or 9 facilities, 10 facilities, it gives me the phases in which each facility is, like an overview of the facilities. And then this part shows you the global data again as how it was visible in the facility manager dashboard. And then there are a few common reports we have here, like the new COVID cases report and the new fatal COVID cases. These are all the common data that we have in both the reports, the facility manager as well as the leaders manager. Right. The other thing that we see here is the facilities at a glance. So if a leader wants to take decision on the facility, we can look at the facilities at a glance from here and understand, like, okay, in which facility how many passes are getting generated, how many people are giving what kind of a sentiment, what kind of a feedback, they can check from here. And employee activity, we can see the employee activity again here, where we can see the feedback given from the employees, the passes generated by the employees, the visits made by the employees, and the overall sentiment of the employee. So all these data actually adds up for the leaders and for the facility managers to decide on whether or not they want to open the facility and if they want to do the transition of the phases or not. Yeah, Shreyas,
Yeah.
this is about the case management report.
Correct. So as we have seen already, two dashboards. This is the third dashboard which we are creating on the top of case management app, and this dashboard provides us overall visibility into the key metrics and trends related to the employee case. So as you can see here, we have a total number of cases. On the left side first, actually on the left side, you can see the slicer. You have seen the same slicer in other dashboard as well. You can select a slicer, you can select a ASIA from there, and then you can see the total number of cases, and then you can see days without the new cases, average risk. You remember in the first facility management, in the case management, we were doing the risk assessment. That risk assessment data will come over here, and it will show you average risk, whether it's low, high, or medium. And then we have average resolution time, how much time we are taking to resolve a issue. And then we have what else we have case per manager list. So by selecting the facility, you can see that what are the new number of cases, and based on that, any employee can decide whether he wanted to check in the process or he wanted to go to the facility. Yeah.
All right, thanks,
That-
Shreyas. So,
yeah.
okay, so that's about okay, and we've got a few questions also. We'll just complete and we'll go to the questions. So there are a few links related to getting the the support from Microsoft. If you want to go ahead with the solution, what kind of a configuration you need to do, all these things are available in the link. So you can go through all these links which are there at the end of the session. Uh, all right, so I see that we have two questions. Others also can start writing the question. We will talk about the questions one by one by one. So the first one is, uh, will the transition happens automatically once all the checklist is completed, or we need to do it manually? No, the transition does not happen automatically. We need to manually do it, because here there is no way you can fix that. Okay, if these are the checks completed, then I can do the transition, because there are a few checks which are an ongoing check which you have to keep doing. You cannot just stop some of the checks in some of the phases. So you cannot do that particular transition automatically. We have to go and add a transition manually and then change it.
Kishan,
What's
sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt. Time check. 10 minutes you have. Thank you.
yeah, sure. What's the scope of customization, as it is a managed solution? and what customization which cannot be do in this solution, which cannot be done. All right. See, this is a managed solution for sure, but when it comes to your facility details, or when it comes to your employee details, or when it comes to your the readiness measures that you are taking, or also the government regulation, because this is not specific to any country, this is like a global application. So every country has their individual government resolution, I mean the regulations, right? So all these things cannot be same, these things has to be customized. So the entire application, from the way the master data creation and all, is completely customizable. Okay, you will be able to customize everything. The CDS is a data storage you are using over here, which you can change to your own data storage, or you can actually onboard all your data onto the CDS and then use it. So you can bind your employee details from your AAD, your organization AAD, to the CDS. Here we have just added like 4 or 5 employees when we were testing it in our demo tenant. But obviously in your organization, all your employee details will be there, or your facility details will be there. Everything will be actually a part from your application, which needs to come and fall into the data so that it can be customized and it can be used. So it's a highly customizable application. There is a follow-up question on this. For example, changing the logo and the UX, adding another phase or remove. Yeah, so adding or removal of a phase, we can do it like when I was showing you the presentation. I showed like you can add more phases to it depending upon your requirement. But when it comes to the logo or the UX for the app, this is like a completely like the UX or the logo cannot be changed obviously because this is like the workplace management solution which comes in, right? But you can still look at the documentation and you can see like when you are getting the licensing and when you are deploying it, if you have options where you can configure these parameters at the time of deployment and you can change it, then you will be able to make those modifications as well. So those things regarding the logo, of course UX can be modified, but for the logo and all, you will have those details as a part of the like the deployment documentation, because this is like an out of the box application that Microsoft provides, and this is a kind of a copyright solution, right? So how much you can change from those perspectives, that you can check over there. But from the functional perspective or from the user interaction perspective, phase or any master data perspective, as I said, you can always customize it to any level. Ashad has a question. Please share the link. All right. So the link will be a part of the basically the presentation that we are sharing, but at the same time I can put it over here also. So you can just quickly go and check. It's a ak.ms return to workplace apps. I think instead of equal to, just put a hyphen. I made a mistake there. Yeah, so that will work. Yeah, the apps. Thanks, Shreyash.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions, guys? Feel free to ask. We looks like we have some 2-3 more minutes. To work with the HR or admin, in the sense, what do you mean by HR or admin? So what do you mean by
Kishan,
HR?
can you show that community and that one, that
Yes,
PPT?
yes.
Yeah, that will
Yeah,
help Arthur to.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, can I speak over here?
Yes, you can.
Hi, so why I'm asking it, because see, normally the facility management comes under your HR and admin who takes care of your facilities, right? See,
Right.
from the IT standpoint, we would be helping them, but in terms of there would be policies that would be defined by the HR and the admin. So, who would be
Right.
the best team to work with in order to get this deployed and to get it running? Like, what would be your recommendations?
So I mean, when you say team, that means team from your organization or someone from Microsoft who would
No,
help
no, no.
you.
From
Uh,
the
no, why?
from the
Because all right. So why? Because we do have this particular link also. If you can see, as Shreyas was mentioning, where you have engage a partner to implement, where
Mhm.
you can engage a partner from Microsoft to
Yeah.
actually do the implementation for you and help you with the overall configurations, deployment, and all.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it from your side, right, the IT, like if you look at the documentation, like the link which I shared, it has a link to the document where you have the complete list of how do you configure it and use it. So the IT guy or the IT team obviously will be doing it. When it comes to populating the the rules and regulations of the organization and all, then of course your HR or whoever decides those things in your organization, they will be giving to the IT, and you will be configuring it basically. So those
So,
things are configurable, where like when you start adding it to the Power Apps, you will be able to add those texts and configurations there.
so we did deploy the crisis communication. So I know the point of context from Microsoft. That is not a challenge for me. I was just looking like which team to involve because last time we involved admin. Sorry, last time we involved HR because it was the communication point of view. Now this is a facility management and the work coming back. So is it HR or admin? Whom should I connect in my like? I just wanted a guidance, some best practices.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so as you
So I
already
think
mentioned, it has to be admin.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
correct.
Yes,
It will be
it should be
admin.
admin.
Correct. When you are going to create a facility, then those things will be taken care by the admin team, and they will
Exactly.
take care of all the case management, and they will take care of all the readiness. All those checklists will be maintained by the admin team. Yes.
Yeah. Because HR helped me for the crisis communication, which we
Correct.
did it.
Yeah.
Like you only
Yes.
how I got the SOP, I got it in same way, and we were able to deploy it.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Okay.
2 more minutes for the
Sounds,
meeting.
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Sure,
Tha-
Kamlesh. Yeah.
Thanks from my.
Yeah.
I'm done with my questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Yeah, I think yeah,
We are
we
good.
can.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Any other question? I think we had some very good questions. Not many, but really good questions. And thanks for listening
Yeah.
patiently.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you basically these things we'll be sharing with you, so you can follow all the links here as well. And anything, if you want to come back to us, you can follow us on LinkedIn or any other social media, and you can come back and talk to us if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shreyas. Thanks, Kamlesh.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
Yeah.
all.
Bye bye.